everyone. In today's lecture, we are going to discuss about input and output instruction. Input and output instructions are needed for transferring information to and from AC register, for checking the flag bits, and for controlling the interrupt. Input-output instruction have an operation code 1111. The remaining bits of the instruction specify the particular operation. The control functions and micro operations for the input-output instructions we have discussed in the previous lecture. So what basically input-output instructions are? A computer can serve no useful purpose unless it communicates with the external environment. That means if we are not having any input and output devices, then there is no use of computer system. A computer needs input-output devices to communicate with the external environment. Instruction and data stored in the memory must come from some input device. That means the data that is stored in the memory must be come from the input device, and the result of the computation must be transmitted to the user through the use of output devices. So input and output instructions are needed to communicate for the communication between the computer and the external environment. So this is a diagram showing the input output configuration. Here you can see that there are three partitions. First is input output terminal. In input output terminal, there are devices that are responsible for taking input and displaying the output. So here keyboard and printer are the input and output devices. Second is serial communication interface. Now in this diagram you can see that all the communication between the keyboard and printer is going through the serial interface. So the serial communication interface are receiver interface and transmitter interface. Interface is basically a medium through which the information travels from source to destination. Now here, this extreme right side, there are flip-flops and register. This is a flip-flop FGO, that means flag output. See in this diagram that the information from the keyboard is going to the transmitter interface, and after going to a transmitter interface, it is transferring the information to the input register. Now here, there is a flip-flop that is FGI, flag input. FGI stands for flag input. So flag input is initially set to 0, but when it receives information from the transmitter interface, the flag input will be set to 1. So after the flag input will be set to 1, the input register will transfer the content to the accumulator for the processing. Now after the processing of the instruction, the content from the accumulator, that is also called as the processor register, will go to the output register. Now when the contents are stored in the output register, the flag output will set to 1 because the contents are currently present in output register. Now the contents from output register go to the printer, that is output device, through this receiver interface. In this way the communication takes place between the input and output devices and transfer it to the accumulator. The computer checks the flag. If flag input is 1, the information from input register is transferred in parallel to AC and FGI is clear to 0. That means after transferring the information from the input register to accumulator, the FG bit will be clear to 0. Now initially FGO is set to 1. Initially the value of FGO will be 1. The computer checks the flag. If it is 1, the information from the accumulator is transferred in parallel to the output register. If FGO is 1, that means the output device is ready to receive the output. So that's why it is FGO is set to 1 here. So when FGO is set to 1, the computer checks the flag. If it is 1, the information from accumulator will go to output register, and through receiver interface it will get displayed to the user through the printer. So these are the input output instructions. Be 0. The value at the sequence control is 0. After that, input instruction will be given. Input instruction, that is INP, is used to get input from the input device. Out instruction is used to give the output to the output device. SKI is used to skip on input flag. SKO is used to skip on output flag. It works when FGO equals to 1. Skip input works if FGI equals to 1. Then ION. ION means interrupt enable on. After that IOF is there, that is interrupt off. So IEN will be set to 0 when interrupt is off. That means there is no interrupt. So next we are going to discuss about the program interrupt. Now the process of communication that we described in the previous slide, that was input output configuration, is called as programmed control transfer. That means all the processing takes place in a programmed manner. In this case, the computer keeps checking the flag bit, and when it finds that the bit is set, it initiates an information transfer. That means what happened in program control transfer? In program control transfer, the computer keeps on checking the status of flag bit. If the bit is set, then it initiates an information transfer. Now the program control transfer is inefficient. Why it is inefficient? Because every time computer has to check the status of flag bit, in the meantime the processor remains idle. Because of difference in information flow rate between processor and the input output device, there is a speed mismatch between the processor and input output device, so the method of program control transfer is inefficient. It can be used to programmed control transfer. An alternative to program control transfer is to let the input output device inform the processor when it is ready for data transfer. Now what was happening in program control transfer? The computer has to check every time the status of flag bit. Only after checking the status of flag bit, it could perform the operation. That means input output device will inform the processor whenever it will be ready for data transfer. And in the meantime, the processor is free to perform other useful tasks. This is known as program interrupt. So basically there are three steps that are involved in the program interrupt. The first step is when the computer is running a program, it does not check the flag. That means whenever the computer is busy in its current execution, it do not check the status of flag bit. So second step is when a flag is set. That means when the value in the flag is 1, the computer is interrupted automatically from its current program and is informed that a flag has been set. Now after the step 2, the step 3 is there. Then computer deviates from its normal behavior and saves the state of the current instruction and skip on the input and skip on the program interrupt and process it. Now this is a flowchart to show the interrupt cycle. Now here you can see in the diagram there is a R. What is R here? R is flip-flop that is capable of storing 1 bit. So in this case either R can be 1 or R can be 0. If the R is 0, that means there is no interrupt to 0. So when R equals to 0, the computer goes through an instruction cycle. During the execution phase of the instruction cycle, IEN is checked. Now you can see here that if the value of R is 0, the normal instruction cycle will be executed, and after that normal cycle will go on execution that we discussed in the previous lecture also. Cycle consists of 4 steps and 3 are mentioned here: fetch and decode instruction and execute instruction. Now in fetch and decode instruction there can be 2 possibilities. One is there can be interrupt enable signal. If the interrupt enable signal is 0, then it indicates that the programmer does not want to use the interrupt, so control continues with the next instruction cycle. If EN, that is interrupt enable signal, is 1, control checks the flag bit. If both flag bits are 0, then you can see here that if the normal execution of computer instruction will take place. Otherwise, if the interrupt enable is 1, then it will check the value of FGI, that means flag input. If the value of flag input is 0, then it will check the value of flag output. If the flag input is 1, that means the value of R will be set to 1 and the process will move to the interrupt cycle. Both flags are 0. It indicates that neither the input nor the output register are ready for transfer of information. In this case, control continues with the next instruction cycle. If either flag is set to 1, that means out of flag output and flag input, either of one flag is set to 1. That means if interrupt enable is 1, the flip-flop R is set to 1. At the end of execute phase, control checks the value of R, and if it is equal to 1, it goes to an interrupt cycle instead of an instruction cycle. Now the interrupt cycle is a hardware implementation of a branch and save return address operation. So you can see here that this is an interrupt cycle. So here IEN is interrupt enable flip-flop. When IEN is equal to 0, the flag cannot interrupt the computer. When IEN equals to 1, the computer can be interrupted. IEN stands for interrupt enable signal. Okay. So when interrupt cycle will work, what happens? Whatever the instruction computer is currently executing, it stores that address into some memory location where it can be found later on. This location may be a processor, register or a memory stack. Here we choose a memory location at address 0 as the place for storing the return address. Return address is the address of that instruction where the execution interrupts after getting the program interrupt. So control then inserts address 1 into PC. That means here you can see that it's written branch to location 1. After the contents are stored on the memory location 0, it will skip to the location 1. Program counter content will be incremented by 1. Control then inserts address 1 into PC and clears IEN and R. Clears IEN and R means the value of IEN and R will be set to 0. That means no more interruptions can occur until the interrupt request from the flag has been serviced. So this is a demonstration of interrupt cycle. Here you can see that this is a diagram before interrupt. Before interrupt, the current point of execution was 255. That means computer was that means processor was running. That means processor was executing the instruction that is in the 255 location in the memory, and program counter has contents 256. 256 is the address of the next instruction. Now before the interrupt, the main program is being executed. This is the main program that is currently executing. Specifically, the instruction at location 255 is being executed when R equals to 1. That means when the value of R is 1, the interrupt cycle begins. So here in this diagram, you can see that the interrupt is occurring. So here, after the interrupt occurs, the 256 value, that was the value of program counter, will be moved to memory location 0. Okay. So after that, program counter will be incremented and the value of program counter will be 1. So when the interrupt cycle begins, the content of PC. Now what the contents of PC were? In the previous slide, 256 was the content of PC. So the content of PC, that is 256, is placed in memory in the location 0 and PC is set to 1 and R is clear to 0. Now at the beginning of the next instruction cycle, the instruction whose address is stored in PC is read. Okay. Now here you can see that PC equals to 1. So whatever instruction is here at 1120 location, that will be processed now. The instruction takes the control to the input-output program after the interrupt has serviced. Now when the input-output program is finished, now here you can see that the execution of the instruction at 1120 is executed. After that, the control goes back to the memory location 0, which further takes the control to location 256.